Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Purgatory Plays, and today I wanted to give you a recommendation of 3 games if you're trying to just let loose. If you know me, and you know a lot of the channels I run, we play pretty highly competitive games, and we play stuff that's usually a PvP game that involves you to be a try-hard or just in general do your best at what you do. But with this video, I wanted to kind of go opposite of that. Something that's more relaxed. Something that you can play by yourself and you can kind of get this that same adrenaline fuel pump, I guess, but in a more casual centered way. And the 3 games that we have recommended, I think, are some of my favorite games that perfectly capture that feeling. So these are all racing games. All of these games at least involve something that moves really fast, and we're gonna kind of go by difficulty, in my personal opinion, how difficult these games can be. So the first game we're starting with is MX vs ATV Legends, another game I can recommend if you don't have a PC or Xbox or PS5. If you just have a Switch or Switch 2, then I can recommend MX vs ATV All Out. That's basically what MX vs ATV Legends is, but better. All Out is still a great game and runs really well on the Switch. So MX vs ATV Legends it's a racing game based on motocross and ATV off-road racing. There's also some other off-road races you can do, but there's quite a variety of things you can do in this game. You can do a trail, you can do a supercross track, you can do a national track, which is motocross. You can do the replica tracks of modern day. Yes, there's a lot of DLC and you do have to pay for those like motocross replica tracks, but the base game's original tracks are a lot of fun to play, especially after the updates that they did to them. When this game came out, I wouldn't have recommended it, but in its current state, it's phenomenal, and there's a lot to do here. And if you find yourself enjoying the game, then I can highly recommend getting the DLC for it. Some of it's a little expensive, but some of it's also on the cheaper side. I'd say, personally, the DLC I have the most fun with is the ones that are not replica tracks, but they have the throwback tracks, they have tracks from Reflex, they even have some like free updated tracks that they put in the game that you could probably access now. The number one I can either recommend is either the Goat Farm, or I think it's the Sleigh Ride one. Is pretty hard, but it is a lot of fun and very rewarding once you get it down. But I think the Dog Park is my favorite DLC in this. It's a lot of fun. My favorite mode to play is Trails, because it's more of just a go fast, complete a race in that much time. But yeah, overall I think this game is phenomenal, and it's probably the easiest game on this list out of the next 2 games. Whenever we get to those, I'll come back. Enjoy the rest of the MX vs ATV Legends gameplay. Next up, the game we have is Descenders. So this game is available on PS5, Xbox, and PC. I'm not sure if it's available on Switch, but basically Descenders. So this is a downhill bicycle game. Basically, in a way, it's a roguelike. You try to get as far as you can without wrecking as much, and you can heal your character, stuff like that. But basically, the main game is just riding your bike down a hill, and each course being a different difficulty. There's some depth to this, like drifting, knowing when to slow down. I mean, MX versus ATV does that too, but with this game, it's more about knowing when to pedal, knowing when to maintain your speed. It requires a lot more thought, in my personal opinion. It's not an easy game. There's definitely some hiccups that you can make, but it's very easy to learn and very easy to master. I barely have played this game. I know I still had, racing game history. I've played a lot of racing games in my past. Descenders, I would say, is probably the first bicycle game I've played. It's probably my favorite so far. It's a very unique game and one I should highly recommend. So I'll just let the gameplay roll out for y'all, and then we'll move on to the next one, which I think is the most difficult game. So the final game I can recommend is called Dirt 4. I recommend this one in particular because it's a lot more arcadey in its feel. So if you're someone who's looking for a more simulator-based rally racing game, I can recommend Dirt Rally 2.0. It's kind of a big game, but it's a very accurate simulator. At least I think it's Dirt Rally 2.0. I know the first game people really liked, but I can't really remember the opinions on the second game. But anyways, we're talking about Dirt 4. It's a lot more arcadey in its feel, and the rally tracks that you have in the game are pretty much, you can generate them yourself. They're based on pieces. Like, there's a lot of times where you'll recognize certain parts of these tracks. You can literally adjust the length and complexity of the track, and you can choose between, I believe it was 5 different areas on the map, which is usually a way for them to kind of convey biomes. Like, they got the snow one, the desert one, the dirt road, they got the asphalt. It's just whatever area makes it relevant. Not only that, outside of actual rally racing, we also have rally cross. There's rally cross and then a bunch of other modes, but I typically play the main rally mode because it's the most fun to me, and I think it's the most difficult because look how narrow these tracks are, and look how fast you typically have to go in order to be considered good at the game, I guess. But you can go much slower, you can brake much easier, there's a few times in the gameplay you're watching I could have braked more, or even when braking, sometimes you'll slide, and yeah, you have to really get down the traction of the car that you're using, or like basically using its strengths for the track while also going really fast on narrow roads. It requires a lot of proactive thinking, I should say. It's very good at that, and the game is also very helpful in a way to help you maneuver the track by having a person that tells you what's coming up, and that's actually in actual rally racing. They typically have a guy next to him that tells them, okay, this is what's coming up. So like right 5 typically means that there's just a pretty mild right turn coming up. If it's a right 1, then that means it's a sharp turn. You need to slow down or learn how to drift. And then there's the hairpin, which is usually the most satisfying thing in the game whenever you get it right. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty old game, still very good, I would say. It's one of those that didn't age a bit, and I would say turning on the arcade controls or arcade physics, it typically prompts you at the beginning. I would say to choose the arcade style because that makes the game much easier to maneuver, and something that I didn't really think Dirt Rally 2 capitalized on. But that's all the games that I can recommend for this. If you want me to recommend more games, let me know down in the comment section below. I love recommending games. I have way too many to count myself, so if there's something you want me to try, tell me and I'll see if I can give it a try. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and let me know down in the comment section below, what is your favorite game to let loose on? And it could be anything. It could be outside of the 3 games I recommend. Everybody has their own taste, and hey, this is just what I enjoy. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys again. I love you all. Have an absolutely fantastic day.
Crest, right 5, left 6, right 5, pass junction. Crest, left 6, dip, right 3, left 2, through dip, keep right through dip, left 4 over crest, don't cut. Left 6, into. Me, left 2, dip, right 5. Left 5, right 5, over crest, left 4, long, crest, right 2, left 5, left 6, through dip, left 4 over crest, don't cut, 150, into left 4. Bump, immediate, open, hairpin right, keep in. Right 6. Right 4, over crest, jump maybe, don't cut. Right 6 over crest, left 5, right 4. All right, get her to the control. Over crests, 80. Caution, left 4 over crest, and left 1. Narrows. Into right 4 opens long, don't cut. Cut. Left 4 tightens. And right 3. And right 4 over crest. Left 3 narrows. Into right 4 opens long, don't cut. 80 through dip. Left 5. Caution, braking, turn, open, hairpin left. And right 2 long, tightens, don't cut. Into left 3, don't cut. Don't cut. Right 2, crest 80. Cut. Keep middle over crests. 100 through dip. Keep right over crest, right 4, and left 3. All right, take her slow to the control.